Hey folks, Matt from Art of the Image. Want to have a look at the Canon 70 to 200 lenses. There's four of them that are current to choose from, all L glass, and I've had a couple of readers asking if I can review the four of them so we can have an idea of why you might want to buy one over the other or where they fit in. So basically, what I did was here is I ran off the B&H offerings and prices. I usually go by B&H because they're usually about the best price you can get, or very close to it. So it gives you a current USA price and what the current offerings are. So basically what we have the 70 to 200 f2.8L IS, which is like the flagship Canon 70 to 200. It is $2,374 US currently at B&H. So that's the flagship. That's the 70 to 200 f2.8L IS2 USM telephoto zoom lens. Then you come down in the 2.8 range, and you still have the EF 70 to 200 f2.8L USM telephoto lens. And so that's basically the same lens with no IS motor. L glass, pretty much the same optics. It is $1,376 US. So you're looking at almost exactly $1,000 difference. And the big thing there really that you're paying for is the IS motor. You're not going to get any advantage in image quality or anything like that from the more expensive one. What you're going to get is the image stabilization. Now, image stabilization can be a whole other video post because a lot of people have problems with it, not realizing that image stabilization only steadies you, the shooter. If your subject's moving, it's not going to compensate for that. So you still need a high enough shutter speed to deal with your subject. It's only for you so you can hand hold at extremely low shutter speeds if your subject is stationary. So, is it worth the extra $1,000 for you to buy the IS motor version? That's something you have to decide on your own based on what you shoot, and if you are okay with using a tripod or a monopod, because those will very easily compensate for the IS. The IS is convenient because you can walk around without one. On the other hand, the IS is also a little heavier, and that's a heavy lens anyways, even without the IS. So you're probably going to find that hand holding with the IS is a big bonus. However, you could save $1,000, almost half price, and go with the non-IS and get into a tripod or a monopod to help you out in that situation. Next up, we have the 70 to 200 f4L IS USM lens. So basically what we're looking at there is it's $1,281, $1,281 US dollars. And so this is a smaller, lighter version of the f2.8L IS lens. Now, one of the beauties of this lens, what a lot of people found out after this lens came out and they bought it, I owned this lens and it's fantastic. This lens is actually sharper than the f2.8L IS lens. And basically it's easier to make a little bit slower optics, the f4 as opposed to the f2.8. So it's easier to make them and make them more precise. So this lens, this f4 version, is tack sharp and lighter. So a lot of people have actually opted for this with the better high ISO abilities in our DSLRs these days over the f2.8. Not just for price, I went with it. Price was a factor, although if I really wanted the 2.8, I would have bought it. But one of the big things was better performing optics and lighter. It's always nice to have a lighter, smaller lens. So, and again, you can get this lens without the IS motor. So that is the 70 to 200 f4L USM lens. It's $675 US. That is quite cheap for such a nice performing lens. Tack sharp. This is actually one of Kirk Tuck's favorite lenses, Visual Science Lab, the 70 to 200 f4L non-IS version. He loves it. The price is out of this world, $675 for one of the best optical lenses in the Canon stable. You don't get the IS motor, but it's a light lens, smaller and lighter, so it's not so bad for hand holding. And again, go to a monopod or a tripod. So basically, to go smaller and lighter, your choices are the f4L IS or the non-IS. Again, you're going to save about half price, $675 to $1281. And then you step up if you want a faster lens. You're getting into the f2.8, so more light gathering ability, more ability to blow out your background, although f4 still blows your background out quite nicely. And then you're jumping up considerably in the price. That's where you're at $1376 for the f2.8 non-IS version and $2374 for the f2.8 IS version. So you just have to decide, do you want the heavier, faster lens? Do you want it in an IS version? Do you want to spend the extra money there? Or do you like the sharper, not quite as fast lens, but it's a constant f4, so still pretty quick for a 70 to 200 zoom? And again, do you want it in an IS version, or do you want to save and get a heck of a bargain at $675 for the non-IS version? So that's how you kind of got to decide this. Do you want smaller and sharper with not quite as fast at f4 and lighter, so easier to handhold, easier to carry? And then do you want IS or do you not want IS? Or do you want f2.8, a little bit faster lens, a little bit more light gathering ability? And do you want the IS version or the non-IS version? It's a heavier lens, a little bit harder to handhold, so you're going to probably lean towards the IS, but do you want to spend an extra $1,000? Obviously, price factors into all these decisions, but you have to decide what's right for you. They're all very good lenses. As I said, my decision when I was buying in these lens categories was I really liked the 70 to 200 f4L IS. For the price, it's really good. Tack sharp lens, light, compact, still quite fast at f4 for a 70 to 200 zoom, so your bokeh is still very nice in the background, and the IS makes it beautiful for being a light lens, easy to handhold. Again, though, you can go for $675 to a non-IS, but again, that is kind of wraps up your decisions on how to look at that and how to buy which one. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll be back soon with some more video posts, some more articles, and we'll keep you up to date with what's going on in the world of photography. Thanks.